Registration has already started, and students everywhere are stressing to find the classes they need and meet with their advisors. I'm Holly Clausen, and this is Need to Know, where the Beaver News digs deeper into the issues that affect you. We met up with student Austin Tipton to see what he thinks are some confusing aspects when it comes to registering.
There are some things that are kind of misleading when it comes to my degrees. There's the percentage tracker, which doesn't necessarily follow the amount of credits that you're taking, mainly the amount of just which classes you've taken, which can be misleading as opposed to when I thought I was a junior at this year, then I turned out that I'm actually still a sophomore.
What many students don't realize is that registering for the wrong classes can not only affect your graduation status, but also your eligibility to apply for scholarships. I met up with University Registrar Mathern to see what the consequences are for students who are not careful.
What's so critical is that students are registering for courses that are on their academic pathway towards their degree or certificate or major or minor that they're trying to earn. Because as long as a student is staying on that pathway and meeting the other requirements that the scholarship requires, that will help them sort of maintain that eligibility for scholarships. There are going to be times where students take classes that they maybe don't need for graduation, or that would be helpful, but maybe another class would be a better fit. And so we do have students where their time towards graduation is increased as a result of not taking the right class. The best way to avoid doing that is to actually sit down with an academic advisor, walk through your plan using My Degrees, and ask questions.
Mathern isn't the only one who agrees that meeting with an academic advisor is important. Jessica Stillman, sophomore at Oregon State, explains her experience with registering.
I found that when I made an advising appointment this term versus the last couple terms, it helped me get in the direction I need to go with the classes that I'm taking rather than blindly signing up for classes I don't need. So it is important.
And Tipton comments on his experience as well.
I think it's helpful to have someone who knows what they're talking about, especially in your department, as to where you're currently at in your degree and where you need to be in, like, say, the next term or next 2 terms.
Finally, we met up with head advisor at the College of Liberal Arts, Louis Bertaro, to ask him what students can do to make sure to get the best schedule for their needs.
You want to make sure that you're having backup courses. Have an entire list of classes of things that you can do. An ideal schedule is not always the reality. You need to make sure that you've got multiple things in place so that if a class that you want closes, that you're prepared to move on to Plan B or Plan C. So having some variables ready to do that, and then check your My Degrees afterwards. Check with your advisors to if you had to deviate from the plan that you worked up.
Figuring out your class schedule can be frustrating for students. So this term, when entering registration, make sure that you take all the necessary steps to avoid potential issues. I'm Holly Clausen, and this has been What You Need to Know.